There's more that the pitcher should give to the lessons than take away. Pitching instructors can have 10 to 70 kids a week. And if they don't know what you truly want from lessons, you are going to get lost in just this is how everybody does it, and this is the way we're going. You're showing your pitching coach that hey, we're working together. I know you're working hard to teach me these things, and I want you to trust that I'm going home and that I'm giving you that commitment to get better. Hi, welcome to the weekly dose. We're finally in March, and March we are going to be talking about bullpens and warmups and how to get the most out of them. So this week, I just want you guys to reframe your thought process or your approach to lessons. And I'm going to kind of give you some clues and some advice and some different ways to maybe just think about things, right? So with my history of lessons, I'll kind of give you a brief thing. I played rec ball, and at 10 years old, I wanted to pitch. And my dad said, nope, you're horrible and you're wild. He probably didn't say horrible, but he said, you are wild, and no, if you want to pitch, you got to start practicing. And so I did. We found someone to give me lessons, and we went probably periodically. I can't fully remember the full details. And then she ended up having another child, and she didn't want to give lessons anymore. So I think a year went by where I was working with my dad, but not really with an instructor. And then I got accepted to go to Leroy Zimmerman, who really didn't give lessons, but only to a couple of us. And it was a real special treat. And he was mid-70s, and he passed my sophomore year in high school. And from that point on, my sophomore year in high school until I got to college, I didn't have a pitching coach. We just worked on what we knew, and it was pretty fine-tuned. Obviously, there's room for development and growth and just getting more comfortable with spins and break, but it was just me and my dad. And we went out there and we worked through things and we figured it out. And so that is how I'm going to come to you right now to talk about a different way to think. I've given lessons for 18 years. So I'm going to add that kind of experience from the other side as a pitching instructor. And then, I have daughters that want to pitch, and they want to pitch when they want to pitch, right? So they're 6 and 8, and when they want to do it, we kind of play around with it. And so I kind of have, as from a mom side of it too, of what we should get out of it. So I'm not just going to give you I'm a pitching coach, this is what it is. It's like, here's my experience, here is my experience from the other side. And also, I'm a mom and now a college coach. Of the pitchers that have a different mentality stand out. And you can tell which ones are robotic and which ones can think on their own because they've taken more ownership. So let's dig in and let's think about it differently. So we are going to talk about what pitchers should give to their lessons and what pitchers should take away from their lessons. Now, most of you probably think that as your daughter goes to lessons, she should just take, right? You're going there and you're trying to learn all this stuff and listen to your coach, and you are just taking all of this in. But when I was sitting down and writing out the gives and the takes, there's more that the pitcher should give to the lessons than take away. And I don't think a lot of people think like that. And so we're going to kind of dig in with it. So the first thing that pitchers should give is what? Communication. We just talked about communication all last month and how important it is. So what are the things that you can give to your instructor that you need to communicate, right? obviously your past week performances. You're talking about this worked well for me in the tournament, this got hit the most, I never got a swinging strike with my rise ball, right? Communicating so they can see what they need to fine tune and maybe the workout. I think another thing that you need to communicate is, last week you told me to work on this. I was super successful with it and I can't wait to show you. Or, I was really working on this and I just can't seem to figure it out. These were the things I tried on my own and I need you to see if I'm doing it right. Am I doing this drill right? I just don't understand my body. I can't feel it. And so I don't know if I'm doing it, right? That is communication where you're going in and you're giving your pitching coach information that she or he needs to hear and needs to know to get you better. The last thing with communication that you need to give is, what are your goals? Are your goals to play in college? Are your goals to be successful for your high school? Are your goals to be the starting pitcher? Are your goals to have a new pitch in the fall? Like, what are your goals? Pitching instructors can have 10 to 70 kids a week. And if they don't know what you truly want from lessons, you are going to get lost in just this is how everybody does it, and this is the way we're going. You have to be able to say, this is what I need. In the next 3 months and this summer, I need to get this to break more. Or I need a rise ball. My coach says I need something that goes out of the zone to get the batters to expand their zone, right? You need to be able to tell that so then they have a focus. They can create these lesson plans and give you what you need. Right? So they need that from you. Okay, so we just talked about communication. Another thing that pitchers need to give to their pitching coaches and lessons is commitment, right? Lessons are not one and done. I come to my lesson once a week and I'm done until I see you next time, right? We get it. As pitching instructors, we get life is hard, right? The time change, the cold, maybe you lost your job with COVID and you can't afford to go to a batting cage. We get it. But there is a sense of commitment that needs to be there so that you are showing your pitching coach respect. You're showing your pitching coach that hey, we're working together. I know you're working hard to teach me these things and I want you to trust that I'm going home and that I'm giving you that commitment to get better. We can't it can't just be I haven't had time this week. You know how many times I've heard that in my lessons? I haven't had time this week to get out there. And it's okay, I'm pretty understanding and I get life happens. But at the same time, did you work inside your house? Could you do your motion? Did you work on your drag, right? In front of a mirror? You don't have to have someone catching you all the time. That's that commitment. That's that elite mentality to say, I got to still find a way. The third thing that I think you need to give is an open-mindedness, right? And with that word comes a lot of things that can kind of fill in, but you need to be vulnerable. You need to be able to go to your lessons and be okay to fail. Be okay to try new things. Be okay to put yourself in a position where you don't feel comfortable and give it a chance, right? So by pitchers giving their coaches that open-mindedness to learn new things or listen to it in a different way, and maybe having to move your grip. Gosh, I've had this grip on my curveball for the last 4 years, and you want me to change it, right? Are you open-minded? Because I know pitching coaches are going to love that, right? That you're willing to try anything. And as a pitching coach myself, I did not want them to be robotic. I did not want them to pitch like Jamie Southern. But there's things that we need to try. And so how I approach it is I would say, listen, I want you to try it for just 5-10 minutes and let's assess the situation after that, right? Let's see if your dad or your catcher says your spins look different or tighter or, gosh, I had more break, right? Let's be open-minded to try new things. Be coachable. That goes with the open-mindedness, right? So you're going to try new things and you are going to do what your pitching coach asks of you. You are going to them, you're paying them money for their advice, their expertise, their experience. You have to be able to be coachable. And so that comes with that open-mindedness. And the last thing is I want you to be vulnerable. And we talked about that with open-minded, right? But vulnerable has its own category. And with our lessons and with our game time and with our bullpens, we have fear, right? We can be embarrassed for throwing a pitch that went over the backstop, or we threw a changeup and it hit the net up top. That's real stuff and real feelings. And so when you are vulnerable, you're going to say, like, I'm putting away my pride because I want to get better. So being able to take constructive criticism, and that's not easy. I would say 3/4 of you pitchers out there are okay to hear the truth, right? That's why you go to your lessons. You want to know, how do I get better? You don't know how to get better until you know where you are and you can hear the truth and be okay with it. But there's 1/4 of y'all that you don't want to hear any of that. And I would have lessons and I'd be like, oh my goodness, they were not okay with me telling them the truth. And I'm a very kind and compassionate person, but the facts are the facts. And that rise ball is not a rise ball. That's a fastball high, right? We've all been there, and we know as parents catching our pitch, or like, that didn't really break, or different things, right? But going to be vulnerable and to say, I might be embarrassed today. I might think bad about myself because I really struggle with this pitch. It doesn't come easy to me. And to be okay with that, right? When you're vulnerable, you're saying, I'm okay. I'm okay to open up. I trust you, pitching coach, to take care of me and to teach me, and I'm letting you lead me. So hear the truth, hear the facts, and take it as constructive criticism. If you're going to a coach that you don't trust, then that's not the right place for you, right? But you should be able to know that they're going to take care of you and take care of your feelings and say things in a way that is constructive, but also kind, right? And encouraging. And so those are the things that I think we need to do a better job to give to our lesson, right? Communication, vulnerability, open-mindedness, and commitment. So think about, do I do that, or do I go to the lessons to just take? Tell me what I need to do. Tell me this, right? It's a different mind frame. And like elite pitchers don't just take. They are going to give because you and your pitching coach are a team. And so within a team, it can't be one-sided. So let's talk about different ways that we take for a lesson. In a lesson, remember, we have to give and we have to take. So it's not just saying we only give. We are going to take some things. And what we're going to take is we're going to take our pitching coach's advice, right? We're going there. We're paying to say, tell me what it is. And so we're going to get their advice and their expertise. We are also going to take away drills and homework. I need to know how to fix this problem. I need to know how to fix this bad habit, okay? And when you give that commitment, you're going to go home and you truly are going to work on it. But we have to take away the advice and the drills and the homework, and we need all that. That's why we go, so we can carry over to the next week and continue to get better. And the last thing I think we need to take is sometimes it's not easy for everybody, but to take encouragement and praise from our pitching coach. And some of you don't believe in yourself like you should, right? You might always think, oh, that pitch isn't good enough. Or that didn't really, I don't know, that spin wasn't right. Or gosh, I can't hit my spots. And your pitching coach is not there to give you fluff, right? If they're truly a good pitching coach, they are going to tell you facts. And the minute they give you some kind of praise or encouragement, like it's real. It's real. And I know that was for me. I am not going to tell you that's a good pitch if it's not a good pitch. Sometimes I'm a really kind person, so I'm like, oh, and I'm a pitcher, right? So I'm like, oh, that pitch was a strike. I probably am more generous than what an umpire would give when we're doing like situational stuff. And like pitching with my college pitchers today, we had to do this where they had to earn like 6 points at the very end of their workout. And I gave them 3 pitches that we're just trying to improve for our games from tournament to tournament. And with that, it was like, okay, these are the 3 pitches. You need to throw them, and you get to throw them until you have 6 points. And they would throw a curve, and oh my gosh, it broke, but it was a little low, and it's like, it's a good miss, but it's not a good pitch. It's not a good pitch in the sense that you're trying to hit that spot, right, and be successful. And so if your pitching coach is saying like, yes, that's a great pitch, take that. Like, give yourself confidence. Like, allow yourself to be confident and successful, and like, let it drive you for that next pitch. It's not easy for everybody to just take in that praise, because some of you have insecurities. Some of you doubt yourself. And I'm telling you right now, like, take it in. Because you may play for a travel ball coach or a rec coach that doesn't give that enough, right? So when you do get it, appreciate it and accept it. And the last thing that we take, and it kind of went under the being vulnerable, what we give, right? We need to be able to be vulnerable and take the constructive criticism, but we really have to take that from lesson to lesson. Through a lesson should have balance from your pitching coach, and there should be truth, there should be encouragement and praise, but there's also that constructive criticism to say, that's not good enough, you can do better. And, that curve is good spin, and you can get it to be great. Don't be down on yourself. Be like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. And I'm going to take that constructive criticism and be balanced in my head to say, she's not being mean, or he's not being mean by telling me what I'm not good at. Right? He and she are telling me this so that I can be the pitcher that I want to be. I can be the pitcher that achieves her goals. I can be that starting pitcher. But if you're always told and you only want to take the praises, hate to break it to you, but you're going to fold in tough times. You're going to struggle when it's bases loaded and there's 2 outs and it's a full count. Like, you truly are if you can't be able to hear the hard stuff. So I've just given you how you should be able to give to your lesson and take away from your lesson. You guys do it a lot. You go to lessons a lot. You pay a lot of money. Get the most out of it. The workout of the week is going to be out tomorrow, and it is going to be a workout that's going to help you with strategizing and sequencing, with knowing who you are as a pitcher, of your weaknesses and your strengths. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow, so you can have a workout this week that brings some value to you and gets you game ready for this weekend.